Welcome to Grand Garden. Grand Garden is a market garden. And market gardening is a rediscovered form of food production that was established a few hundred years ago. With market gardening, it's also called a bio-intensive form of vegetable production. And you can describe it in a way of growing vegetables, mostly organic vegetables, by hand, on small land, with a high diversity of crops, and selling it directly to the consumer. Market gardening nowadays is performed on permanent beds, which are 75 centimeter wide, in between 45 centimeter pathways. And as you can see, we grow the crops densely. So we have a lot of plants on the area. And this gives us the opportunity to grow high yields. In market gardening, you always grow a diverse range of crops. And here at the Grand Garden, now it's autumn, it's the beginning of November, and we grow winter crops, winter vegetables. So here at the Grand Garden we grow summer vegetables and winter vegetables. So we grow food vegetables all year round. And market gardening is not only growing organic food, fresh food, seasonally, regionally, but at the same time we also perform other services to the society and to the planet. So when we grow food, at the same time we mitigate climate change, because here all the plants conduct photosynthesis, so they suck up carbon dioxide from the air and store with the roots, store the carbon, the liquid carbon pathway, they store the carbon in the soil. We also apply a lot of compost here, so that also contributes to mitigating climate change, because we sequester the carbon here in the soil. We also support our earthworms here. So the earthworm casting, the earthworm compost also contributes to sequestering carbon. So when we grow food, at the same time we mitigate climate change. But at the same time we also adapt to climate change, because we know the weather is becoming warmer, maybe precipitation is becoming less. So when we adapt the methods here, like applying mulch on the beds, applying compost on the beds, then we cover the soil, we regenerate the soil, but at the same time we protect the soil from evaporation. So it's clear we are adapting to climate change. We are using also irrigation systems that make sure that we avoid the loss of water here. Mitigating climate change, adapting to climate change. But at the same time when we grow food, we also stop the loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity in case of the different crops that we grow. So we here at the Grand Garden, in the market gardens, we grow 50 different crops, and not the 5, 6, 7 crops that you get at the supermarket, but a much bigger range, a much bigger diversity on crops. This is one side of stopping the loss of biodiversity. On the other side, we also support beneficial insects, pollinators, butterflies, wild bees, but also ground beetles, for example, and even rare birds that we find here in our market garden. So market gardening also stops the loss of biodiversity. But when we grow food, we also grow soil. So we regenerate the soil here at market gardenings at the same time when we grow food, because we use mulch, because we use compost, because we try to avoid tillage when it's not necessary. At the same time when we grow food, we try to keep our air clean. because we do not use any pesticides here at the Grand Garden. We avoid fossil fuels as much as possible, so we only have one walk-behind tractor that we use on the farm. All the other work is done by hand. So we make sure the air stays clean, and we make sure that the water body stays clean, because we do not use any pesticides, because we do not use any mineral fertilizer, so we do not penetrate nitrate into the groundwater body. But at the same time, we are creating jobs here at the garden, at the market garden. Regional jobs, rural jobs, jobs for young people. And at the same time, we are establishing a resilient system. So that means a system that is capable of working against damages. So this is really, market gardening is really resilient against pandemic diseases, against blackouts, against energy crisis. And it makes sure that food safety is kept in the area, even if there is no transport, because you have very little transport necessary. And at the same time, we can have other benefits also. So in market gardening we grow a range of different crops. So like here now you see spring onions, different herbs, coriander and special winter salads, for example. We use special methods, like here the spring onions, as you can see, they are planted with a system called paper pot, and this enables us to plant large amount of plants very quickly. So one bed is about like 6 minutes or so to grow them. And you can still see, even if we have a polytunnel, but the polytunnel is not heated. So that's also a benefit, especially now with the energy crisis, where we face super high costs on gas, electricity and so on. So here in this system, we use polytunnel for certain crops, but we do not heat them. They are cold houses, and this is really nice to see how much performance such a market garden can have, and how much crop they grow. But let's check other crops out, which are outdoors. And because we also grow a lot of kale crops, like a curly kale or palm kale. And as you can see now, we have a beautiful light right now. So these crops, curly kales, and we do not use any pesticide. So they are zero pesticide produced. We use these kind of insect nets, as you see here on the right side. So we cover these, some of the plants with some of the crops which are prone to pests and diseases. We cover them with these insect nests, so to make sure that they won't be penetrated by pests. And it's really easy. It needs a lot of know-how, and my team has a lot of know-how in that. But it's possible to do it and to grow summer and winter vegetable. A classic crop is also carrots, as you can see here. And this, with the carrots, it's easy to explain how market garden works. So we have these 75 centimeter wide beds, and if I would work here in an organic way on the field, I have to have a certain distance between two rows. Because when I drive with the tractor and my hoe and my harrow, I want to avoid to damage the carrots. So I need a certain distance between the carrot rows to go in with my machinery. So here in market gardens, we do not use technology, we do not use tractor technology. We definitely use technology, but not the tractor technology. But the plant production system, market gardening, is adapted to the needs of the plant and to the needs of the human people. So we can step over here easily, we can work from this side, we can work here from this side, and so the system doesn't have to be adapted to the tractor, to the wheels and to the machinery and to the equipment, but it is really adapted to the needs of my crop and to the needs of the humans. So that means when I go with a tractor, I can only grow 2 rows of carrots here. When I go by hand with a market gardening system, I can seed up to 6 rows of carrots. So that also means that if they are closer together, then they are also, they close the area much earlier, and that prevents weeds. So it suppresses weed also, and it's easier for us to work on it. And another benefit, for example, if we harvest the carrots today, then we plant a new crop in. So we can plant several crops in each bed per year. Every year we can grow 2, 3, up to 4 crops on one bed per year. On a field, mostly you only grow 1 crop, and next year you grow the next crop. But here we can grow up to 4 crops per year. And that's also possible because a lot of crops are planted. So it's not seeded, the carrots, they are seeded, but the curly kale, for example, just beside this are planted. So the young plants are produced in a polytunnel, they are not produced on the bed, but that means I can produce the curly kale plants already before I harvest the carrots. So I can start 3 weeks, 4 weeks earlier to start my new crop without using the actual bed where they will grow up. So when we harvest this carrot bed today, we can plant new plants in which are already 3 or 4 weeks old. And this gives us a lot of advantage because you work within the time span. So when the time is running, you are already seeding the next crop, but the former crop still is in the bed. And then when you harvest them, you put the young plants, the 3 or 4 week old plant, into the bed. So that is one method and one reason why market gardening is so performative, so has such high yields. The other reason is, or another reason is, that we can care much better. So if you grow on small land, you can care about every single plant, to say. So like you compare it with a raised bed, 1 square meter raised bed, you can care about every single plant on the raised bed. You will water every single plant on the raised bed at the perfect time. If there is a bad leaf, you can take it away. Just imagine this idea. And then how much can you grow on a raised bed with 1 square meter? You can easily grow 20 kilograms of vegetable. So, but compared to 1 hectare of land, which is 10,000 square meter, then you would grow 200 tons of crop per year on 1 hectare of land. But that's not done in agriculture, in large-scale agriculture, because you cannot, if you work on 1,000 hectare, you cannot care for every single plant, you cannot care for every single area, and this is what you can in a market garden. So that's another reason why market garden is so productive, why it has so high yields, and another reason why it's such a successful system. And this system was not only invented hundreds of years ago, but it was also very successful used in the near past. So like in the Second World War, there was a campaign in the United Kingdom that's called Dig for Victory, where they started to grow vegetables all over the place. So every single small land was used for growing vegetables. And so they could produce a lot of food for feeding Great Britain at that time. But also for example, the dacha system in the Soviet Union. The big farms, like the 10,000, 20,000 hectare farms, they didn't perform very well. They didn't harvest as much as would have been necessary to feed the people in the Soviet Union. But so then the Communist Party decided, okay, every citizen can have a very small land where they can grow some vegetables. And just a few years later, 80% of the vegetable grown in the Soviet Union was grown on this small land, private plots, very small land. People started to grow and use this small land in the most efficient way. And so they produced a lot of vegetables, and they could not only survive with their families and produce something for their families, but they also could share something and could put it on a market. And that's also a really successful form of market gardening in the past. And even nowadays, after the Russian invasion to Ukraine, the price for these dachas has tripled, because people think back about the idea, okay, why not grow our own food? Why not do it like it was done 50 years ago? So this shows, all of that shows how successful market gardening is, but also how much potential and how much benefits in this plant production system is still hidden. We just have to use it. When we talk about market gardening, what we want to do at Grand Farm, at Grand Garden, what we want to show is, on one side, we want to explain what market gardening is. So growing organic vegetable on small scale by hand, sell it directly. Having a lot of different farms around. Every single village should have its own market garden. This is what market gardening is. The second pillar, what we want to do, is we want to explain the benefits. So when we grow vegetables, at the same time we mitigate climate change, at the same time we adapt to climate change, at the same time we stop the loss of biodiversity, at the same time we regenerate the soil, we keep the air clean, we keep the groundwater body clean, we create jobs, we create a resilient food production system all over Europe. These are the benefits. But what we also want to show and what we also want to highlight in our work is that we need a certain framework. We need a certain framework for young people who want to establish their own market garden, who want to start a market garden in a small community somewhere. And we want them to be successful. And this is the most important thing. So we need a certain framework. We need conditions for young people to not only start such a business, but also to successfully conduct it over like 20, 30 years. So this is what we need. And this is where we also see our responsibility here at Grand Farm and Grand Garden. We want to reach out to politicians, we want to reach out to regional managers, to decision makers, to companies, to everyone, and say, what do we need? Which conditions do these guys need to make them give them the possibility to establish a successful market gardening business. So we need more education, we need better education. We have 50 different crops, we have the crop rotation, we have plant protection, we have soil fertility, soil health. So all that needs a lot of know-how, very complex system. Fun, but complex. We need more possibilities for training. We need the possibility for young people to travel around Europe and look and visit and do internships in market gardens all over Europe. So to train, get trained, experience a lot of different situations. We need a solution for voluntary work, because a lot of people, a lot of customers approach us and say, we would like to help you. We would like to be out in the garden and join you in harvesting, in weeding, in plant. We want to learn from you. We want to experience what is going on. So we want to bring our children, for example. This is difficult because what happens if there is an accident, for example, or how is the situation, how is the legal situation with voluntary work? What about value-added tax? So does such kind of food produced in such a resilient way, in a local way, do we need value-added tax on it? So what about startup funding, for example? Here in Austria, there is no chance the common agricultural policy doesn't touch this small-scale food production system at all. So there, you see, there is a lot of things, a lot of the environment that young market gardeners face. A lot of the environment is uncertain, is not defined, and we are here and we want to, together with other stakeholders in the sector, we want to change that, and on a long-term perspective we want to create a framework to make it possible for young people to start market gardens, but also to succeed for 20-30 years with such a concept. So at the end, you know, our slogan is we want to grow food. So we grow food, we grow soil, and we grow people. And I think at the end, market gardening could be a huge contribution to a change of mindset in our society, because we can bring in children, we can bring in citizens into market gardens all over Europe, and we can train them, we can raise their awareness about how a healthy, how a future-proof food production system, at least for the vegetable sector, could look like all over Europe. And our vision is we want to see a market garden in every single village all over Europe and even beyond.